Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. Today we're going to take a look at the brand new SISLEY OMBRE Eclat liquid shadows. I have two shades from this release. This is Coral and this is Bronze. We're going to swatch these. I'm going to demo them, one shade on each of my eye. We're going to let some time go by to see how these settle. And then we will also do comparisons with some other non-powder shadows in my collection. So the first thing that comes to mind is going to be the Chanel Laque, the liquid shadows from Chanel. And then I also have the lid lacquers from Surratt. So not quite liquid, but it is very, or they are very emollient. And so it'd be interesting to see how they compare. I also have a few other things here, like the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. Basically, anything that was non-powdered form, I dug up because I'm also curious to see what the texture is like, how easy they are to work with. This is Chantecaille's product. A little bit about the product from the website because I think it's worthwhile because liquid shadows are meant to be easy one and done. You definitely want them to be long lasting and to give you either a very luminous effect, a smooth effect, maybe both, but you just want it to be easy and beautiful. And I think these, as described on the website, is exactly that. So they're saying that these are long-lasting liquid shadows that immediately deposits an ultra luminous wash of color while offering a feeling of freshness and lightness. The eyelids are visibly smooth. Its formula offers absolute comfort all day long and does not settle in the eyelid creases. I think that's really important because with liquid shadows, sometimes depending on the formulation, they certainly can crease. I do have primer on my lids today for this demonstration, so that's something to take into consideration. Let me swatch each of these to show you. And this is just one swipe of Bronze. I'll add another swipe using the other side of the wand. So I feel like the opacity is definitely buildable. And then we have Coral next with one swipe. I mean, these are beautiful. They're metallic, but with a noticeable layer of shimmer to the finish. So what I'm going to do is put some on the lid right now, and then I'm actually going to go in with a finger. Yes, first with a finger to just smooth it out, and then I'm going to pick a brush for the other eye to see what kind of effect, like what application feels like using each of those. So I'm gonna swipe, and then we'll just do two swipes. That's plenty of color. You certainly don't have to kind of use these the way that I've done for all over the lid because that's a lot of, it's actually kind of intense. It's a lot of color. On the models and in the photos, they sometimes use the color as like an eyeliner, for example. So you definitely don't have to put it all over the lid, but I'm just kind of excited here. I'm just doing this as a test. And what I did here with the outer corner or inner corner is just to bring it down a little bit, just to highlight this inner corner area. And I'm just kind of shaping what I would want this to look like, just have some in the outer corner here, maybe a little bit of a upward. So that is a knot. I mean, that's just like a very easy way. As I was patting this down and trying to move the shadow, at this point it's already kind of settling in. So it no longer feels liquid or emollient, although from swatching it yesterday for Instagram and TikTok, I do know that as I go through again with my finger, I can still move some of the pigment, but it's mostly going to be the sparkles that I'm moving, the glitter. So the pigment's not going to budge that much. You could smooth things out a little bit more if you wanted to, but this is pretty much what it's going to look like. Let me get into Bronze for the other eye. So for this eye, I'm not going to spread it as much as I did with this side. And I'm really taking advantage because using a brush, it gives me more control over the shape and how I can spread it. So I'm going to do exactly that. I also don't have a ton of time because I can already feel this is settling. So this is bronze on the left eye, and I feel like I have a little bit because I have some texture here. I feel like the shadow did grab onto the texture. I'm not going to fix it now. I probably will go in with a Q-tip to just like lighten the color up. But I do actually like how the control that I get with a brush. So this is from Sonia G's travel set, her mini brush set, the Kayaki set. This is the mini booster. So it's great for kind of working the outer corner and moving the shadow upwards into the crease. I also dragged it down here a little bit. Didn't get too much product on there, but just a little bit to have a hint of pigment on the lower lash line. So this is what the two shades look like. I think they're beautiful, very different from each other, the two shades. With this outfit, I'm definitely feeling more bronze than I am coral, but given the warm temperatures, especially going into spring, I think coral is more speaking to my mood. I'm gonna go in now with a Q-tip to just touch up here. And again, I think it wasn't that it dried too quickly and I couldn't move the product. It was because it caught onto some texture on my lid. I think it does look a lot better now on the left side, and I would be happy to wear this out as is. I'm just gonna let this sit and we'll come back to it and see how it settles and if it's easy to rub off with a finger in a little bit. Going into comparisons, the first thing I want to try is going to be the Chanel. Their Laque. The shade that I have here is in Laque Bronze. It's quite similar in the metallic texture or finish. And this other shade here is Laque Pourpre. SISLEY in their liquid shadow also has a shade called Wild, which is basically like an olive green, khaki green. And because I have this from Chanel, that's why I didn't pick that up. But I would say in comparison, just from the swatch, one swipe from Chanel, it's more concentrated and it's thicker. And I think you do have a little bit more time to work these. So I'm just gonna go in with a finger to move the product. The issue that I have with these Laques, and I mean, it's only been, what, like 10 seconds or so, probably less than that. You can see as I went in with the finger, it's not very friendly. I do not think it's meant to be blended. It just kind of smears. I think truly you're meant to go in and put a one swipe and then if you wanted to, you could just lightly dab it to spread it, and then that's kind of it. I mean, I feel like, yeah, that's really it. This is not too messy, but you really need to control your pressure and your movement, because if too much time has passed, like a couple more seconds than it needs to be, then you're gonna get this. I have not gone back to use these for that reason. I think they're gorgeous. The swipes are beautiful. The swatches here are just beautiful. But you kind of have to be careful, especially with these deeper, like opaque shades. They do have lighter shades in this line, and I think they're probably so much easier to work with. Like I've seen other people use them, like, oh, that actually looks really nice. But they are the lighter shades. These also don't budge, by the way, from Chanel. They're gonna stay there unless you really go in and try to rub them off. So if you are interested, I think they are oily lids friendly as well. All right, for non-liquid comparisons, the next one I want to take out is actually going to be quite a bit different from, you know, these long-staying type liquid shadows. It's going to be Surratt's Lid Lacs. The Lid Lacs are a totally different thing in of itself. And the reason I say that is I have here Kogetcha. Beautiful, beautiful color. And then Hadaka, which is like a beige nude. So gorgeous. I did a 8-minute makeup challenge and chose Hadaka because I know I could quickly complete my eye makeup look and look really, and still be, you know, fresh, put together using Hadaka. So if you want a quick makeup eye look, no fuss, the Lid Lac is a great option. The thing about the Lid Lac, and I think this is a very valid reason why it's not more popular than they are, is they do not dry down. They will crease on your lids. So if you have oily lids, I don't think it's a product for you. But the times I've worn this and I've noticed it crease maybe within 2-3 hours of wearing, I just go in because it doesn't dry down and I just do this to diffuse it and spread the pigment back, and it looks like it almost looked like it was freshly put on. It's really interesting and it's very counterintuitive to what we have come to expect of makeup, is that, well, if it's, you know, high performing, then it's going to be, you know, ingredients are nice and then it's not going to budge once you put it on your face. And this is not that. But these colors are beautiful, and the way they diffuse and spread, it's so gorgeous. I know this looks messy, but I just wanted to demonstrate how easy they are to blend. And you can add on a little bit of this deeper shade to your Hadaka to give a little bit more dimension. I really like the Lid Lac, and if I was in a pinch and I just need to get something done in less than a minute, these would be my go-tos, because you pop this on, you put some mascara on, and you really have a very fresh look put together and you're ready to go. So that is no exaggeration. It's just that it doesn't dry down, and you have to be prepared to go back and just do quick touch-ups with your finger, and then you wipe off any excess that comes off on your finger. All right, moving on to Charlotte Tilbury. I have the Eyes to Mesmerize Rose Gold. I was so obsessed with this when it came out several years ago, and this does dry down to a powder, very similar to how the SISLEY liquid shadows feel. And this is probably one of the best sort of cream eyeshadow products that I have. I think she really, and the texture, the finish is very similar to SISLEY, and I think pretty similar to Chanel as well. They're easy to blend. You get a little bit more time than you do with the liquid shadows, and it does stay put throughout the day for the most part. So I couldn't attest to what it's like without using primer, but I've had really good wear times with Charlotte Tilbury as well. Next, going into her Color Chameleon Pencils. This is in Amber Haze. And not nearly as emollient as any of the potted shadows, as the Lid Lacs from Surratt, but they're very easy to work with as well. I can go in with this brush to blend, or you can use your finger to smudge it. Because it's not as emollient, you're going to have to use a bit more pressure. So these work really well when you go in with a smudger brush. And they're really wonderful too, because given this, you can certainly use it as a pencil under the eyes and over to get a little bit more precision, and the product isn't gonna move around very much. And then here I have the Mermaid Eye Matte from Olivia. So they have the Mermaid Eye Matte. There's also a version of these kind of potted cream shadows that have a glittery finish. I do want to show you the Eye Matte because I feel like we don't hear enough about it, and this is a cool kind of grayish shade. It's really, maybe not that suitable for my skin tone, but it really is beautiful. So that's why I wanted to showcase it. This is also, it doesn't fully dry down, but it does have good stain power, and creasing is not a little bit of creasing, but not much. And for just a little bit of creasing, you get a little bit more time, you get more control over it to blend out. And so maybe not that suitable for my skin tone, but for anybody who have the right tone for this shade in particular, the shade is called Olivia. This is going to be a great kind of one and done shadow as well. So let's go back to our original SISLEY and let's see how everything sits. No creasing. Let me go in with a finger. I think I have wiped this off as best I can. Just let me do that. I'm not putting too much pressure, it's light. So some pigment have come off, and definitely the sparkles. I think most people are not going to be doing this after they apply these shadows on. So I think it is fair to say, at least in the first 15 minutes after applying, is that they're going to stay put. They don't look like they're going to crease anytime soon. And then let me just do that to the other side. Similar, some pigment have come off, and it's mostly the glittery parts of it, but it has stayed intact, mostly undisturbed, or not noticeably disturbed on my lids. Well, I noticed that I don't have lipstick on, so why don't we pick a lipstick that sort of goes with both of these shades before we go here. Let me see. So I have a Phyto Lip Twist. And I just don't, unfortunately, I don't like this shade that much. It looked beautiful in the photos. It's shade number 3, a bright coral. But I find that it's not really for me. And I do have bright orange, bright, other types of bright coral-like shades. So I end up using those other ones rather than this. However, I am in love with the Phyto Rouge from SISLEY. And I have 4 here. Shade number 10, I think this is Beige Jaipur. Just goes with anything. Just goes with anything. It is pretty nude though, with a good hint of pink in it, but I think it's a little bit nude for how low-key and light the rest of my makeup looks. So maybe I do want something with a little bit more color. These 2 shades here, shade number 22, which is, I think this is Rose Paris. And then shade 30, I don't remember the names offhand. I think this is Orange Ibiza. I think Rose Paris, Orange Ibiza. This is, I love that. Do love that. And then yes, Rose Paris. Also beautiful pink. And then while we're at it, why don't we swatch the last shade? And this is Beige Bali number 12. So I'm gonna put on Beige Bali because it's not as bright and it's not too nude. We'll go with this shade. So there you go. That is the SISLEY Liquid Shadows, and paired with Beige Bali Phyto Rouge lipstick. Let me know what you think of these liquid shadows. I definitely have to come back and give you guys an update on how it wears over the next several hours. So far, I really like it. I'm really impressed. And I wish I had picked up Lisa Eldridge's liquid shadow she released last fall, was it? So that I would have another direct comparison. But they're all sold out on her website. Perhaps I'll pick up a few of them when they come back in stock. And yeah, so I think these are pretty great. I think I like the shade bronze more than coral. Although the next time I put on coral, I don't think I'm gonna put it all over my lids because it looks okay, but I think I prefer a little bit more precision. So most likely I'll end up using some kind of brush to spread it. There's just more control. It looks a little bit more put together. I'm not the most skilled at using my fingers for makeup anyway. So yeah. Well, I'll see you guys very soon again in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.